Howdy, welcome back to Weld County Regulators. And today, another instance of me not remembering my microphone. I didn't know I was going to be recording today, but this chipper here, you've seen it before. I replaced a little blue motor up there because it got seized up. It was making noises. It was about to give up the ghost. Moses. Now the hydraulic pump is bad. So the pump we replace about every year because we use it constantly and the fluid in it was bad. So the pump was going bad. We replace the pump every year. Last time we replaced it, we managed to not get the bolts in quite right to bolt the pump to the motor. So they backed out with vibration and the pump started wobbling around. I don't know if you can hear anything I'm saying because Denver is noisy as hell. This warehouse is noisy as hell. So the pump started walking off and wobbling around, and it ended up ruining the pump input shaft and the motor's output shaft. It wobbled enough to ruin the bearing that holds the output shaft. So the motor froze up, pump is bad. We tried to find a pump motor setup for it forever. This whole setup here, they have to special make, so it would take about 6 months to get a new whole setup, which is what I wanted. Because I think all this stuff is starting to go bad. I didn't have any more filters for it. And by now, all that's in the tank, because this intake tube right there is just open to the air, and it's been raining. So all that's in here now is just water. So I wanted a whole new setup. They didn't want to get me a whole new setup. It's been about 4 months now, 2 months maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time with just a roll-off dumpster, and they're finally tired of paying for the roll-off dumpster. So they finally bought me a new system, new setup, and I just have to try to hook this thing up over there. I need to put a control head in here and wire the motor to all of them wires over there. So I got everything labeled up. All this has number 1 blue on the T1, T2, T3. Those are gonna hook up to this wire for number 1, this wire for number 2, and this wire for number 3. And then that green wire there should just be ground. It should just bolt into this somewhere for a ground, to ground the motor out. And then these go to the solenoid here. That's the control head. There's a spool valve in there that moves back and forth and controls which direction the fluid goes into which hose. I'm thinking this whole mess here might bolt up to that pump system. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to get a whole new control head here, and I think that these will just attach to the control head through this plug here. If those won't connect, then I'm gonna have to cut it and then try to wire those into a new control head. Basically, there's a lot of work to do here, a lot of wiring and stuff. It's very noisy, you probably can't hear me, but I'm gonna try to get to work on this and see what I can figure out. The thing is also sitting out in the weather, so whenever it rains, it just gets rained on. And I don't really like that. It makes a mess on top and everything. So I'm gonna take a couple of these bolts out and take a piece of sheet metal and set it here and have it come out like a roof to come over that, which is gonna be sitting there. Hopefully that sheds some of the water off and makes it, I don't know, keeps it cleaner or something like that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a redneck trying to do a maintenance position job. I don't know. Huh? Alrighty, I got my piece of metal cut for it. It's gonna go something like that on there. I just got to bend about 4 inches off of the top here so that can bolt up to these bolts. They go all the way under here. And there's going to be 3 bolts going through this plate into that, and then the plate will be at an angle about like if that's flat, it'll be about like that, something like that. And then I'll try to crease it down the middle and fold it so it's not, you'll see when I'm done. My dilemma is I don't think anything should ever be painted white. White kind of sucks. I don't like white. The entire machine is white, and I think it would look goofy if just this roof were black. So I'm not sure if I want to paint it white to match that, or if I want to paint it black to match the pump itself and just to look better, because white sucks. Well, I guess I'll go bend it and try to drill some holes. Alright, we got our sheet of metal here. I got marked out 4 inches all the way across. That's what I want to fold up like that, so that this will bolt onto the wall and that'll be the roof part. So here in a minute, I'm going to mark the holes that I need to drill out for the bolts, and then I'm going to stick this something like that into the vise, and then I can just grab the top of it and try to pull it down and see if I can bend it that way. I don't have a brake. There's a proper tool for this that just clamps this like that, and you can bend it. I don't have that, so that's gonna be my maybe possibly effective bending technique. There's no way in hell this is gonna work. It's gonna break that board. No way. No. What? Sun came out in my work area. It's hot as shit. The sun came out in my work area. It's hotter than... It's hot. So I got the lines disconnected over here. I got the outline, or the extend line off. I also got the return line off. I don't know if there's anything left in this, but yeah, that's just straight water. Okay, there's some oil. There's some oil in it, but when I took it off the first time, right when I disconnected it, just gushed water for a second. Water and hydraulic system is terrible. It'll eat your pump. So that may be what happened to our pump. But yeah, see, now it's just water dripping out. Anyway, I'm gonna get that old setup out of there, set up that roof thing, and then try to get this new mess in there and see if I can hook it up at least partially tonight. It's too hot to be working out here. Alrighty, there's my roof thing. There's the new one, not those hoses, but this mess. That's got to go down there. So I think this needs to be at a taller angle. It shouldn't be so slanted, but this upright is in the way, so I'm gonna have to cut out, dang it, it's hot, a notch like that, so that I can bend this whole mess up a little bit farther. I got the new unit in place, so those 3 bolts are where the roof is coming down. I figure most of the snow is going to be falling that direction, or rain or whatever. We got a warehouse over here that'll block it. It's like 40 feet tall. It's not coming at that big of an angle this direction, so most snow is going to be coming this way. So I think the roof being slightly this side of the unit is good. It'll protect it better. Right now I'm just working on getting those 2 lines hooked up to that. I'm pulling stuff off of this. I've gone through 3 cans of brake cleaner so far, trying to clean up just stuff that's going on here. I got to put another adapter here to hook up the other line to, and then I got to put this relief valve back in there, and then I'm gonna call it for the night. And on Monday I'll hook up these wires. It's just those 3 that need to hook up over here, and then we have the solenoid that has to come off of the front here, basically just like this. Well, that's a day. I'm gonna call it for today, go back at it on Monday. It's Friday, so I could come in Sunday and work on it, but I'll come in on Monday, get it. I just have to do that electrical, a little bit more with the hydraulics and that control head that I'm waiting on. I was thinking about the hydraulics here. I think I need some kind of a pressure regulator, because right now I don't think it has any kind of pressure regulator on there. I got to put this relief valve back in there. And if it doesn't have a pressure regulator, then it's going to be putting 3,000 psi into my machine, into the chipper, and it's not supposed to have 3,000 psi. It's supposed to have I don't know, not 3,000. I'd have to look again, but I think I might have to get some kind of pressure regulator to put on there. Then I got to put this relief valve back, but I'll worry about that on Monday. For now, I'm pretty happy with the stuff that I got done today, and I'll be back on Monday. Just like that. I am back and it is Monday. It is 5 o'clock. I've been here for, I don't know, I got here at 3:45. However long that is, I'm not good at math or anything else. So, had some other stuff to take care of, did all that, welded I had a chain that come off of some sprockets, had to put back on, and I had a guide pole thing that I had to weld back on. So I'm looking at my manual for the chipper, and it says hydraulic pressure should not exceed 1,800 psi, and it shouldn't go lower than about 200 psi. So it shouldn't go higher than 1,800. Our pump there puts out 3,000 psi, so I got to regulate it down to 1,800 or 2,000 psi. It's a hydraulic cylinder with 2 hoses on it. It's not gonna bust at 3,000 psi, I don't think. Well, 3,000 is pretty high, but I think if I regulate it down to 2,000, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. Somewhere within 1,500 to 2,000 psi, we should be okay. The problem then is that my tank pump motor setup, I don't think has a regulator on it. I'm looking at my breakdown here. We got the motor. That's the valve, or the like manifold thing. That's the pump, pickup, returns, filler. So I don't see a pressure regulator unless it's right there. Okay, 6.4. See if I can find that. 6.4 valve shut off. What the fuck is that? Why am I explaining all of this? Y'all don't care. So the gauge would have a magic lamp, and maybe somebody will come answer my questions. Fuck. Alright, turns out the pressure control on this is obvious as all hell. It's right there, clearly, as you can clearly see. But that said, on my schematic breakdown thing instructions, that said pressure relief valve. So I thought that was supposed to bust when it got too high a pressure and just be like a safety switch for it, so nothing over pressurized. I didn't realize. Whatever. Anyway, that's my pressure control valve. I got the control head in today, but I'm gonna have to put a 90 in here and get this moved, put another one of these over there. Pressure valve, we're putting pressure valves everywhere. There's gonna be another one in there, I think. And it was starting to rain and I didn't want to get any water in the system, so that's gonna be for tonight or for tomorrow. And now it's Wednesday. I didn't get anything done Monday or Tuesday. I'm waiting on parts. Actually, I'm waiting on hydraulic fluid right now. That should be here tomorrow. And the chipper is working. Holy. So chipper's working all right now. This goes and sits right about 500 or 600 or 700 psi, and then when the ram gets to all the way in or all the way out, the gauge goes all the way up to about 1,700-800 psi, around about 1,500. I have the pressure regulator set at about 1,500 psi, but when that thing gets all the way in, there's a lot of resistance for it. This will jump all the way up to about 1,800, and then as soon as it jumps there, it drops back down because this hits its limit switch, which tells the computer inside the building to switch that around, and just a bunch of jargon. Now this thing has only ran for 2 days, and the fluid is all milky, and I'm not sure why. This morning when I came in, it was pretty clean, so I think stuff had settled out of it. Now it ran all day, and now it's really milky again. It does make some weird noises that I'm not sure what that is. Usually when the ram just barely starts moving, it'll start making a noise. And I also have a leak up here. I gotta tighten this, but that's all working okay. The pressure, that's all working all right. The problem we had over here is that, I keep forgetting, I need to put that back on the cover. This motor, so this whole machine sat for 3 months maybe, and this motor, when we started it up, when we started the whole machine up, that motor just went, and the whole pulley system there just kind of moved back and forth. I'll put a video in right here. It won't turn under load, but it does when the motor's off and I kick it. So I thought that it was something going on wrong with the motor. I got ready to pull the whole motor off, and then I talked to my dad and the maintenance guy from his company, who's has a lot of experience with this stuff, whereas I have no experience and I'm clueless. I don't know what's going on. And he told me that one of the power legs was probably down. That is a three-phase motor, so there's 3 power wires and 1 ground wire. Here, I'll show you. So if you look at this, these 3 are all power wires, and then this green one down here, that's the ground. So it comes in, the ground just passes through, and then the breaker. These are all power. So there's 3 power wires, 1 ground wire. This is a 480 volt. I think it's 480 volt. System. So 3 power wires, right? The maintenance guy from my dad's company told me that what it sounded like to him was the motor doing that was one of the power wires was down, one of the power legs. So I took a voltmeter voltage tester thing and tested to see if I had voltage at those 3 wires over there at that breaker box. Voice break. And 2 of them had power, 1 of them didn't, so he was right. I came over here to this power breaker box, power junction box on the building itself, and tested, and all 3 of them had power. So that means it had to be in between there somewhere. This box here, junction box, that box was open. One of the fuses was blown. There's black stuff everywhere. That's black. It was burnt. Everything was black and burnt. Pulled the wire nut off, cut off about 1/4 inch on both sides, stripped the wire, put a new wire nut on it. Runs fine now. That's fixed. This machine is running better than it has in probably a year and a half. Anyhow, that's the video for today. If you enjoyed it, first of all, me seek help from a mental health professional. I can't speak today because why would you enjoy this? Anyway, yeah, you know the things that you do, all the stuff. And aside from all that bull crap, y'all keep your twin ditches, keep your shiny side up, dirty side down. I'll catch you on the flip-flops. Here's a red bird. We gone.